Welcome. Today I'm going to try and show you tips on how to install an upgraded audio system into your Harley. This is on a 2016 Electra Glide. However, it's pretty much the same on all the other bikes. And hopefully this will give you some helpful information, because frankly the instructions with all the Harley installations are quite poor. Frankly, they just suck. You can find YouTube videos that may be helpful, but most of them have lacked some of the detailed information that you're looking for when you're trying to figure out which wires go where. So hopefully this will help. So let's start back here with the battery. You'll need to disconnect the power. To do that, you'll take out this bolt and this bolt. You unconnect this connector and this connector. This is your module. This will flip up, and then you'll be able to take the hold down bracket off, and you have your positive and negative that you just disconnect. This is actually the harness that comes from the front of the bike, and this has a fuse holder. This is going to the positive ground, the other wire is going over here to the negative ground. To get this wire to the back, you need to remove the tank. To remove the tank, you don't have to remove your center. You'll take off this bolt, remove these covers, and underneath there's a bolt on each side. Okay. Petcock here, you push up on the chrome piece and pull down on the black piece, and that will disconnect your fuel. Very little will come out, but it's best to put a rag underneath it to catch any excess fuel. Once that's done, you can actually be able to remove the tank. You have two drain hoses. This one, all you need to do is pull it up about 8 inches. This one has a disconnect plug here, connector, and you can separate it there. Once you do that, you can lift the whole tank, turn it, put a cloth down, and lay your tank right there, and you don't need to do anything else. Once that's off, your wire cover lays underneath. You remove your cover, and you'll run the wire through that cover, and like I said, it'll come back through. This is one, this is the other one. You see this here, that will come back to your rear speakers here. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's a 4-way plug that comes on the models up to the 18. The 18 models don't need that 4-way plug, but the other ones, and that's pretty obvious how that goes in. This will actually plug into one of the 4 connectors. The other 2 will go into your main female and male coupler. The 4th one, actually, you just plug. It's not used. Now, going to the front. So, to take your fairing cover off, there's 2 bolts. This bolt and this one. Those are star bolts. There's 2 on each side. You remove those. You have 3 that connect the upper fairing where your windshield also connects. You remove those 3. And then you can actually pull out the fairing you have, this is the plug to the headlight. You'll need to unplug that, and then you'll be able to pull the whole thing off. And this is what it looks like. Seems complicated, but we're going to try and simplify this. These are your speaker containers. These screws are left in. These connect the 2 halves. There is 3 Allen head screws. One here, here, and here. Those need to be removed. And then you have 2 Allen head screws on the side here. 1, 2. The easiest way to remove those is unplug your wires here to get an Allen head wrench on these. Once they're loosened, you can finger unscrew them. The difficult ones are very difficult to see. I'll try and point these out. They're up here. There are 3 bolts up here. I can't really show you these very well. There's one you can see, but the other 2 are higher up. And these are kind of a pain. The best way I found to remove these is using this wrench. It flexes enough that you can get a different angle and ratchet it out. Because once those 3 are out, on your right side, you'll need to unplug the lighter, and then this will pull out. I'm going to show you that on the right side. This is how it looks when you pull them out. And your speakers are here. 3 screws, and then you remove these. You can plug in your new speakers. Your grills will have to be replaced. 3 screws, take them out, put it back in, and then this set back in, just like that. And you just reverse the process that you took it off. So you have 3 bolts here, 2 screws here, 3 Allen head bolts. Now the wiring and the amp. So the amp sits on this base. This base, you remove the 4 screws underneath the amp here that hold your radio. And then you use those same 4 screws that will hold this bracket on. Your amp just sits on that, but you bolt this bracket to the amp before you set that on there. And that just has 2 screws on each side. And then you bolt it down, and that holds this amp steady. So the front of the wiring harness that comes with it this is the amp plug that will just plug in. Like so. there are two plugs. One you will separate your right and left speaker connectors, males and females. One end of the module will fit into the female end, one end will fit into the male end. And the same thing for the reverse side. Two other wires. One is your PDA. That's on your, this plug on your upper right side will actually have a plug in it. It'll look like this. You remove that, and you'll plug this end into it. Now this one I have a accessory connector, so it allows me to plug in two other accessories. Yours may actually just go from here to here. Now the right common module plug, that was the one that was the most difficult to find on details, and I'm going to try and show you that. So if you look under your radio, on the right hand side, I'll show you this. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed, but there's one right next on the far right where these four wires are. That plug, that's your right control module plug. You'll unplug that. Your harness will plug a male end into it, and the female of the wire you removed will plug into the other one. So that's the most difficult one to find. That's this wire, and this is coming off. And the last plug on your harness that comes with the Harley is this, and it's your 313. This connector will be the other harness that comes with the kit, and this goes to your rear speakers. So you'll have this harness and then the main harness that will run back under the tank to the rear of your bike. I will tell you, it's easier to run them on the left side of the tank. There is more room in your wire harness compartment. So once those are all plugged in, it will look like this. Now when you first take off your fairing cover, you're going to have two plugs. One sits on top. Well, they both sit. This one and this one. This is your XM connector. This is a CB connector. They'll be laying on top, and you'll need to pull them off, and then on your new bracket they have holes where you relocate them. So this is for a CB, this is for XM. There's also this, which is a antenna module, which will be on top when you first take off. Basically they lay where the amp is sitting now, so you need to remove those and relocate them. This is just a double adhesive tape that holds it. So again, once you figure out the wiring setup, it goes pretty easy. So the two to remember is that 313 is for your rear speaker harness, and the right control module is underneath the right side of your radio. On some bikes, the instructions say it's over to the left side of the fairing. That didn't make any sense. So we're going to just button this up. We'll put these bolts back in on the left side and put the fairing back on, and this bike is done. Hopefully this will be of some help. I know there's a lot of movement as I'm holding this by myself, but hopefully it'll save you some time.